Hey guys, welcome to this very special episode of Dude, I Love My Ride, and with me is Jeremy Cooper, who brought in his 1999 Jeep Wrangler TJ, except you're as far from a TJ as you can
not
get.
much anymore.
Yeah, that is a fully built rig. That is a rig that will take on, well, pretty much whatever you can throw it at, I would think. And you've done that, right?
I have, yeah. All the trails in Colorado, pretty much.
Yeah,
so.
yeah, and he's rolled it twice now, so.
Yeah, flopped it a few times.
Flopped it a few times. But let's start with the rig originally. What was it originally?
So it originally started out as a 99 Jeep Wrangler Sahara.
Yeah.
White hardtop, doors, flares, bone stock, 30-inch tires.
Yeah, so, you know, the kind of thing you would pick up either on Craigslist or at your Jeep dealership.
I did, yeah. Back then Craigslist wasn't around. I picked it up in spring or summer of 02.
Yeah.
So second-hand owner with 35,000 miles on it, and here it is now.
So how did you decide to go from that to that? Yeah.
I've always had an interest in wheeling and crawling, and I always knew what I wanted. You know, when I was a kid, my brother and I would always go to Moab, and we'd see these full-built crawlers on 1-tons and, you know, the big 40s or 37s back then, and always wanted to do it. And, you know, after going through college and finally building it up and just doing it myself, I was finally able to, after, 15 years, get it to this standpoint. So.
It's a long road because, let's face it, there are different kinds of rigs out there. Wranglers started out as pretty capable off-road vehicles, stout frame, but a lot of the bits and pieces on them aren't that grand. You know, you could take a stock Rubicon and do some pretty good off-roading, but if you're going to get into like serious rock crawling and serious Colorado or Moab terrain, then you probably need something like that. And the cool thing is you did all that yourself.
I did, yeah, and that's you know, the only way I could afford to do it, only way I could, you know, get it done. And it's there's a few years there it was sitting down on jack stands in the garage for, you know, three years at a time, but you know, building up parts and pieces and financially being able to buy it and do it. And so yeah, it's been a long road.
So we're going to do a walk around, of course, of the Jeep, and there isn't much like Jeep left.
Yeah, not much anymore.
But the engine's still original. The
Still
4-liter, 6-cylinder, which is you know, about as bulletproof as you can get.
It is, yeah.
And of course, the grill is still
Grill in the
Jeep.
hood, yeah.
The 7-slotted grill is still there.
Yeah, and the beat-up windshield.
and the beat-up windshield. So let's talk about kind of your progression from going from just a Wrangler to a fully built rig. How did, kind of walk me through like what you did to it?
Yeah, so there's 3 major builds, I say, in
Yeah.
that. It was the first one, which had the Dana 30 and the Dana 44. And I built that up with long arms and 37s and ran that as my daily driver. When I went to, you know, moved to California and everything like that, cross country, it worked great for about 4 or 5 years. Then I had a rollover, you know, down a highway on it.
On a road, what happened?
So the driver's side tire, the unit bearing came flying off, and a big 37-inch crawler went running down the highway, and it flipped me over. So
luckily you had a roll cage.
I had a roll cage at the time, a different one than this. So, but that was a few builds ago. That's when it started the second build, when I went Dana 44s front and back, and I stretched the wheelbase myself. And that was really my first kind of dabble into the whole fabrication of it with it. And then kind of got to the point where after, you know, I was living in California at the time and going to the Hammers a lot, Johnson's Valley. I wanted something bigger. I wanted the 1-tons. I didn't want to have to worry about braking, and I wanted to play with the big rigs. So I knew I was going to have to eventually step up to this game. And about 4 or 5 years of just buying, you know, junkyard 60s and axles and saving up for the Atlas and the shafts and the chromolyes and the links. And then buying the tools also was another big aspect of it, right? Those aren't cheap.
No,
you know, welders, tube benders, and all that. So that was when the final build came in. And for about the last 4 years now, after I moved back to Colorado, living in here, I've been running it hard every summer and haven't really broke much, honestly, knock on wood, since it's been fully built with chromolys and 300M shafts and everything like that. So it's pretty much ready to go now and have fun.
So how much money do you think you got in it?
I don't want to know. I don't want to even think about it. I don't even want to talk about it. Or how much time.
Well, let's say it's more than a stock Sahara would cost you, brand new.
Yes, very much. So, yeah.
Well, you know what? It's such a cool rig. I've got Tommy over here. Come on over here, Tommy. He's our local Jeep guy.
Yeah.
Of course, he's got he's entering this world. So, Tommy, I'm going to go grab the camera, and you kind of do the walk around with Jeremy. Cool. How's that?
So I think a question a lot of us have been wondering is, first of all, what size tire do you have?
Yeah, so it's a 42-inch tire.
Yep.
It's an MTR. It's got the Kevlar side walls on it. It's got the bead locks from Raceline on it.
Yep. So what does it take to put a 42 on a TJ?
A lot. So the first off is you're going to make sure you want to have the axle to support it, right? That's the biggest thing. It's got a Dana 60 from 88 to 91, Ford high pinion up there, Kingpin axles. The big thing is the U-joints and the ring and pinion, right? So you got to have that. You wouldn't want to throw this on a stock Rubicon, obviously, to destroy the axles.
Right.
You know, and that's just such a mass of a tire that when it's going over something, it's going to destroy whatever's inside there if it's not built to handle it.
So if we've got a Dana 60, obviously the suspension has to be completely recalibrated with new geometry. Talk to me what we've got going on here, because I see we've got some protrusion through the hood and a whole bunch of new long arms. So what did you have to do to make this work?
So I'm running 14-inch 2.0 Fox shocks up front. I'm running aluminum links that I built back here. It's a 4-link triangulated design, so it's upper link triangulated. It's got 2.0 bump stops in it to stop the up travel. So it's definitely not a desert runner, it's a rock crawler.
Right.
It's got the high steer arms with PSC full hydro, so that way I can turn these 42-inch tires with like a finger, and you know, it helps a lot, especially on the big stuff. Limiting straps, and then up front, obviously, the 300M Yukon U-joints with the chromoly shafts, inner and outer, 35 splines.
Right. Now, I think a lot of questions that these guys will have is, can a stock TJ frame take all this?
This one has.
Really? So it's still a stock frame?
Up until the back part.
Okay.
So I back half the back off just to get more clearance. If you know anything about a TJ frame, it does that big silly hump in the back. And I was just dragging too much on it. I needed more clearance on the inside for the coilovers in the back as well. So it certainly can. The stock TJ frame is definitely built enough for it. You know, and it just depends on where you put your gussets and your tubes and everything like that.
Okay, so moving back, rock rails, are these custom? Did you make these?
I did not. I got to give Genrite credit to those.
Okay.
Yeah, so Genrite provided those. They provided a lot of this armor. These are actually the old Poison Spider rock sliders before the new Poison Spider came out, and this was when Clifton was running it and owning it. So those have been on there for just a little while. So.
And it looks physically longer.
It is, yeah. So it's a 112-inch wheelbase.
Wow.
I think a stock wheelbase of a TJ is like 95, 96, I think, something. So. This is the third stretch. It went from stock to 102, then to the final one to order a 42-inch tire. You have to stretch the wheelbase out, otherwise it's just going to be
a mess.
Yeah, it's going to be a big mess.
Right,
that's
sure.
a good way to put it.
So in terms of drivetrain, so stock 4-liter, which is kind of unusual.
4-liter. Yeah.
That's wild to me, because a lot of guys will go out and do the Vortec or the Stroker. Yeah. But the fact you have a stock 4-liter is pretty wild. And then you said this had a 5-speed in it originally, but now you have a Torque Flight.
A Torque Flight 999, brand new. Yeah. So I put a Torque Flight in it this season actually. Just I've been wheeling with a 5-speed, a sloppy AX15 that's been taking these 42s over all these trails, and it was definitely challenging, and I'm glad it's gone, but so much more control.
So Atlas transfer case.
Correct. Yep.
And then obviously the rear is all custom fabricated. There is not a lick of TJ, is there here?
Just the tub. Obviously I did the rear frame myself as far as all that goes.
What's the rear axle out of?
So it's a 14 bolt out of a 78 Chevy 3/4 ton.
Wow.
That I actually shaved it down to a 13 bolt, so it's got more clearance under it as far as that aspect of things go.
And what about Blake wants to know, what's your fuel economy?
Yeah, I don't know. it's a 15-gallon RCI tank. I mean, yeah, I couldn't tell you.
So
not good would be a
not good would be a good one.
So you have to have some pretty major fabrication skills and geometry skills to make this rear suspension work, because you said that this is custom fabricated.
The whole cage, yeah.
And you've got the actual Foxes themselves coming through the tub.
Correct.
So what was that experience like? How did you make this all work?
So like I said, when I was in college, I worked at a fab shop. That's where I learned a lot of it. And then a lot of it was just self-taught, you know, getting the geometry right, so that when it drops and it droops and you're articulating, you know, you're making sure you're getting the correct angles, the anti-squat in the back. It was a little bit of a learning process. I definitely had to, after I got it all done and did some shakedown runs, I had to go back and redo some angles on some of the lower control arm brackets and whatnot. So definitely a learning process. But, you know, in the last 4 years, I'd say it's getting pretty dialed in now, where I can just kind of jump in it with the dogs in the back and go from there.
Let me show them underneath.
Yeah.
For a second. Let me go underneath here. Show them what it looks like. Interesting, the exhaust still comes out the back.
Still does.
Yeah. Looks like you rubbed some.
Just a little bit.
Yeah.
May have kissed some rocks.
May have kissed some rocks or two.
Yeah.
So, you know, we were just talking about this a little bit earlier, but what about lockers? So, do we have E-lockers? Do we have some kind of spool? What's going on?
It's running a spool, full-time spool in the back. Not my favorite, best option, but It works. I know it's always gonna. I know what the spool is gonna do, which is what I like about it, right? I know it's gonna be locked in and work. The front's actually a Grizzly locker from Yukon. I wish the rear. I'd like to do that to the rear sometime, just to have a little bit more control, so I'm not chewing up those tires when I'm cruising around Moab or main streets. Yeah, that may not be the prettiest windshield frame right there.
How many have you gone through?
I think that's my third windshield, third or second hood, second grill. Like I said, it's one of those things. It's a toy, and it sits in the garage now. And
so here's a question for you. I've always wondered this: if you like roll like a TJ or a JK,
yeah.
how easy is it to bring it back to looking somewhat presentable like this, or looking good like this?
You know, that's what I love about the Jeeps, right? I mean, I don't have much experience, obviously, with the JK and what it would take if you rolled that.
Right.
But the Jeeps are pretty, you know, when it comes to rolling them, I mean, there's every manufacturer out there makes a part that you can either cover that body damage up or just simply replace it. You know, or it's a simple hood or it's a simple grill. I mean, the biggest thing that I knock on would have been very fortunate is just the cowl, because that's kind of like the
pretty structural.
Yeah. I mean, you hit that, it's kind of hard to go back to getting the repair.
Let's open the hood up.
Let's see.
I also noticed, Jeremy, that you look like you put some bigger brakes on it, which is nice.
I am. So it's all 1-ton brakes, and then it's not just the brakes that you have to upgrade, but I upgraded to a 2500 Dodge Master Cylinder.
Yeah.
Just to be able to control it as well. So it's got the PSC full hydraulic steering. It's got the engine cage, the aluminum radiator. I built all the brackets and the cross member mounts.
How many hours you got into it? Let's not talk about money, but how about hours?
Yeah, again, I couldn't even begin to add that up. I mean, it's countless numbers of hours in my garage spent cutting, grinding, working, turning wrenches, and welding.
So will this 4-liter pull it on the highway?
It will, yeah. It doesn't upgrades. It certainly doesn't like it, especially if it's loaded down with my dogs or a cooler. But it will do it.
So it will do it. It just might not be happy.
It won't be happy, but when that's the cool thing. When you go to Moab, you know, actually, the minute I get to Moab and unload it on the trailer, I drive it around the whole time, from all the trails all the way up to BFE and back to Hell's Revenge.
Well, that's the thing, right? I mean, a lot of these guys are running the 392s and JKs, and they'll put 75, 100 grand into them.
Oh yeah.
But you know, when you're out doing Moab Rim, you're only using 30 horsepower.
Yeah.
Especially with this gearing, right? You're using a tiny percentage of the capability. So you don't really need 485 horsepower.
No.
It'd
be cool.
It would be cool. Yeah, that's kind of the big thing too. It'd be cool.
All right,
let's keep going here.
What's your hand? You got it in front of the camera. So Jeremy, where do you go next? Bigger engine? Well, heavy in that thing?
Yeah, you know, I'd love to throw an LS in there.
Yeah.
And at the same time, just kind of keep it as it is. Just enjoy it, you know. I think I was talking with my girlfriend, some friends, and some family members. I think next summer is actually throwing a back seat in it and just add some more creature comforts into it, you know.
You're going back to stock.
Yeah, back to stock, 30-inch tires. I think that'll work really well on 1-ton axles. So, but just a little bit more creature comforts. You know, it's about getting out and exploring the backcountry in Colorado. We have such an amazing scenery here. So that's really what the rig is for now.
What's the gnarliest trail you've done?
I would have to say probably out in Montrose, Boulder Canyon.
Yeah, what is that kind of just a winch fest?
Yeah, it's a winch fest. I mean, you know, even big buggies, and this could be classified maybe in that rig.
You're getting towards a big buggy. Yeah.
Those big buggies, and it's that's probably the biggest, toughest challenge. I'd say, you know, Carnage, Buena Vista, you know, Gypsum, all those trails are pretty local trails. I can actually run Carnage, Buena Vista in 1 hour and 4 minutes, unassisted, unwinched. So,
wow.
So pretty happy about that. Yeah.
Yeah, and do you air down when you go out?
It's aired down now.
Okay, so just keep it aired down.
It's at 6 pounds all the time.
All the time.
Yeah, it doesn't get aired up.
So you were talking about fuel economy. Let's not even go there. No, at 6 pounds, you're really getting.
No, I would have no idea what fuel economy is, man. So
somebody wanted to know what you do for a day job.
Sales marketing.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I travel every week. In fact, that's one of the reasons we've been kind of touch and go. Is you know, I flew in from Seattle last night and I'll leave for Las Vegas on Monday morning.
All right.
Busy life.
And you got to have a daily driver.
I do.
What is that?
So it's a 2015 Dodge Cummins.
Okay.
And watching your guys' show is, I've had, you know, I did Duramax beforehand.
Yeah.
And watching your guys' show, Run the iGauntlet, is really what led me towards the Ram for price-wise and just capability. And, you know, that truck gets it done.
All right. As a thank you, we always like to
Oh, a hat.
Give a hat. So I'm gonna give you some choices. This is gonna be a little tricky for you.
Yeah.
I've got a Subaru here.
Awesome.
I've got a Nissan.
Oh, there we
I've
go.
got a Mazda Laguna Seca.
Okay.
But here's wait, hold on. Here's a Cummins.
There we go.
Here's a Titan, and here's a Jeep.
So the Cummins or the Jeep one? Which one?
Yeah. Which one of these two do you want?
Man, I don't know. Let's go with. I'll tell you what. Let's go with the Jeep one. How about that? There we go.
And that's the way it comes.
Yeah,
right?
yeah, I like it. That's
they come pre-warned.
Yeah, so, yeah.
Exactly.
Cool.
Well, man, thank you very much for bringing your rig. It's a really cool rig.
Cool. Thanks.
You know, you've invited us to go wheeling with you.
Yep.
And we're gonna take you up on that.
Cool.
We'll bring some cameras along.
Yeah, we got seats for you guys, so you guys can sit with us and go all the time.
Yeah, because our little tiny JK is not gonna keep up with that.
Well, cool. We look forward to it.
And guys, if you want to bring your rig on, dude, I love my ride, or dude, I hate my ride, email us at info@tflcar.com. Send a picture of your car, truck, whatever it is that you love or hate, and we'll schedule a time for you to come in. And guess what? Today is Friday, which means we're going to do another live show at 11 o'clock MST. We're going to do Ask TFL. Every week we get tons of questions, car buying questions, truck buying questions, towing questions, and we're going to go and hit those hard. So come back at 11 MST. And Jeremy, once again, thank you, man. Really appreciate it.
Appreciate
Take care, guys. Thanks for watching. Ciao.
Thanks.